Hello, everybody. Welcome to our sixth BFNations podcast. Returning, as always, Maple for the sixth podcast, myself hosting, and Fredo, who is the ambassador for the United States nation in Battlefield Nations. I'm going to let him present himself real quick, and then we're just going to talk a little bit more freestyle today about Battlefield and what's happening with BF Nations. So go ahead, Fredo.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Fredo BF. I'm an ambassador of the United States. I also play competitively for Igna and Eternal Esports, and I've been playing competitively for about 3 years now.
Nice. So I have to ask, right now, what's the competitive scene looking like? Are you guys like still? I know there was a big competition like early when Battlefield 2042 released, but right now it's kind of I would imagine there's probably not a whole lot happening. Not really, honestly, I haven't been playing Battlefield 2042 all that much, so I'm kind of out of the loop. Not news-wise, but more so what's happening in the game itself.
Well, unfortunately, we wasn't able to play in ESB at the time because we was just like recruiting a bunch of people to our team. But currently there is a T6 going on in a league called BCC.
Okay.
I think right now we play for Team Eyes and helping them out, and I think we're probably going to be the third best team so far coming out of that league.
Nice.
It's been pretty fun.
And as an ambassador for BF Nations, can you let people know a little bit what you do, what that role entails in regards to what you're hosting for the nation, your involvement in BF Nations in its entirety? Because I'm sure a lot of people probably don't know or aren't aware of what ambassadors do.
That's why we're starting. But
exactly.
That's to help to observe.
Highlight what they do behind the scenes that people don't see.
Well, behind the scenes, I would love to help out people, whether it's personal or in game or anything like that. My goal is to basically keep the United States community together. What I do is basically like host events, try to come up with fun ideas for us to connect and get all that stress that we build up during the week.
Stress? Nah, it can't be.
And you do great. I just want to say that you actually, I think for one of the first, sorry, but you are one of all the ambassador in the United States that has passed on. Let's say were great, but you, my friend, you are doing exactly what you say here at the moment. And even if the game is not as the most popular, let's say you're doing that in comparison sometime, or at least from what you do now in an awesome way. It's not easy, and you do that greatly. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd be easy to get people to come participate in events just due to how the game is generally received as a whole right now. There's not a whole lot happening, unfortunately. Do you play if you do still play Battlefield 2042? Are you more like Portal, or do you play mostly All Out Warfare? I'm not even going to ask Hazard Zone because I don't actually think there's anybody playing Hazard Zone.
Did you try Hazard Zone?
My favorite mode probably have to be 64-player Breakthrough. For me, that's like my best experience as an infantry player.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah, I do play. I do play a bit of Portal. I like TDM. I like the new mode they put out called Bounty, I think. That's pretty interesting.
What is that?
Yeah.
Because they were Rush 32.
Yeah, I think I saw the post on Battlefield Direct Communication, maybe, or a community manager like posted Bounty Hunter, but I didn't really look into it. Most of the time when I'm trying to launch the game, I'm kind of weary of launching it because I don't know if my settings are going to be reset or not. But hopefully they get that fixed in the April update.
The bounty mode, Fredo, if I may ask? Sorry.
So like, what Bounty is kind of like kind of has like a most wanted kind of idea. So like whoever has the most kills in the server, you will be highlighted in red.
Okay.
or I'm not sure
Oh,
what other color UI
The outline.
has, but
Okay. Okay.
yes. And they will have to come and kill you, and once they kill you, you get like I think double or triple points. So it's pretty
okay.
interesting, and
Kind
it's
Okay.
kind of fast paced. So I
kind of like
really
the
like
high
it.
value target in Battlefield
Yeah.
4. You know how the commander could designate a high value target on the enemy team to take them out. I think they'd get highlighted red, or they'd show up on the mini map at any given time. That sounds like actually a pretty interesting mode. It does make it so like if you're doing really good, then probably most of the server is going to be coming after you. But
Right.
yeah, it's nice
We
to see
played
that.
also the 32 versus 32 rush. I think there was two mode. Anyway,
The
sorry.
SMG rush, yeah, that was fun.
That was fun too.
I
Yeah.
I didn't get to I didn't get to play that. I haven't like I said, I haven't been really playing. There's not a whole lot going on for me personally in the game. And yeah, most of the people I play with are kind of waiting to see what's happening, which is I think mostly what a lot of the players are doing right now. They're kind of waiting to see what's happening. Like there's it's yeah whatever. We were talking about yesterday, Syrup and myself. We had a little meeting because we were having difficulties with video files, but that's a problem that yeah.
It's a codec things, but you do great, my friend. You do great, and
That's boring.
I
We're
will
not going to talk
open
about that. That's
iMovie
boring
and,
stuff here.
Yeah,
But that's why
yeah,
the
no
pod.
worries.
That's why the
But
podcast
let's
took
just
longer to
mention
edit.
that you were working on editing
Yeah.
the other podcast.
But
so.
we were just talking yesterday, and it came to the topic of discussion that the Battlefield Twitter account, the last time they posted was like February 18th, like an official post from their account, not just a retweet. And we were like, how can that be? Are these? I can understand that they might be weary of communicating with the player base because they generally get, a lot of, how could I put this tactfully, negative comments, I guess, and sometimes obviously insults and personal attacks to people. But man,
Yeah, same thing as usual, my friend.
I don't think I don't think it's the way to go to just be completely silent. I know they're doing certain things on.
Oh, you mean the well? But if there's nothing to say, there's nothing to say. But indeed, people are still complaining. I feel a little bit less. So saying is the same thing as usual about the complaint is not true. I feel either. But yeah, it's true that it has been a while. Honestly, I want. I'm kind of still thinking about the bounty mode. It's still just to finish on that real quick, and I promise I will because I maybe want to play today. Is the mode is still in the? We are the 10th of April. Did you saw the mode yesterday in the game? My bad.
Yeah.
I was checking that on the internet at the same time. Okay.
Yes, I
So
I know they're changing game modes more often now in Portal. I think it's
Yes.
twice a week now, as opposed to having I think it was 5 featured game modes.
Yeah.
no,
think
there's 3 now. Yes,
there's-
indeed. And
There's 3
yeah.
now, right? And they're changing them twice a week, as opposed to having 5 at any given time and swapping them out
Yeah.
once a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Okay.
They're trying to,
Bounty.
keep the player base more. What's the word I'm looking for here? Whatever. They're trying to keep the player base more.
Unite.
Yeah.
I like
Fill out the
this
servers.
fast-paced,
Yeah.
high target value, honestly. So I didn't know.
It's
I mean,
super
it's
fun.
probably a really fun
Yeah.
Is it only infantry, or are there vehicles in there?
But it's only infantry
Okay.
experience.
Man.
Yeah, that's my jam right there.
Man.
I want an infantry map so bad. Please,
I do too.
Please.
Yes.
give
I am
me,
like crying for it.
give me. Like I realize that Battlefield has always been like the large sandboxy game with vehicle combat and all that, but
Yes.
it is a lot of fun. Like Battlefield 4, I gotta say, I did use vehicles quite a bit, most notably the anti-air, because that thing was so goddamn good. But I always did sometimes change the pace of things and have a little break from vehicles and go back to infantry and then go back to vehicles. And I think one of the things that I miss the most is not having like a purely infantry map. Like I didn't play Battlefield 5 all that much, albeit I heard that you played an insane amount of hours.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I think you played 3,000, but you played 3,000 hours to Battlefield 5 first free though. That's amazing indeed. I mean, I have a question on Battlefield 5, but I wanted to ask, did you play to Battlefield 3 and 4? Let's say the older. I didn't even play myself. I started at Battlefield 1. I admit it. Did you play the older Battlefield 2? Per curiosity, without indiscretion?
Unfortunately
curiosity?
not.
No,
I wish I did.
me
At the
too.
time as a kid, I was a huge COD fan.
Mm.
And I had a bunch of buddies that loved Battlefield. They were trying to get me into it, and I didn't listen. But I came in at tail end of Battlefield 1.
Aye.
Yep.
Me
Me
too.
too.
I came
For
in Battlefield 1.
for a long time, like I played Call of Duty Black Ops quite
Yes.
obsessively for a while, but that was more so in like the Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2 days, right? Black Ops, I think. Man, it's been so long already. It's like 12 years now. And then when Battlefield 4 came out, then I was like fully invested into that game, playing it every night. And yeah, as I was saying, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. I miss
Nice.
the infantry maps. Like even in Battlefield 1, you guys both played Battlefield 1. You know we had infantry only maps like Fort de Vaux,
Yes.
most
Oh,
notably is,
yeah.
a pretty insane map in of itself. Kind of like it reminded me a lot of Operation Locker, because it's
Yes.
obviously like prison type, fortress style
Yes.
map. And that map was a lot of fun. Sometimes a little bit chaotic. I gotta, but that's okay. That's okay. It's supposed to be chaotic. Battlefield is chaotic, and that's what it's supposed to be. But man, we are thirsting for some infantry maps. Like anything that they can give us would be really, really awesome. And having a map designed for infantry, not having a map that is designed for large scale combat, scaled down.
Right.
There's a couple of good places on certain maps to play infantry only, like not Manifest. Discarded. Yes,
If
discarded.
you're making manifest and you're infantry only, it's a true fun because
discarded.
everybody can go.
The boat, like the boat in the middle,
Oh.
the big
Yeah,
broken
the boat.
boat. That
Yes.
one's that part's pretty good. But I am curious to see how many maps they possibly have in store for the game and how far along they are. Like, they were talking about new areas to discover in like the battle pass, or sorry, the year one pass. Yeah, the year one
Yes.
pass. So we're talking that we get 4 new specialists and new areas to discover. How many though? Like,
Right.
I know it's kind of hard for them to say, okay, we're going to deliver X amount of content because the game's not in a good spot right now, and they probably aren't. They don't want to say we're going to give you this and then have to give us that content because they said it. But man, I think that would go a long way in bolstering the confidence that people have in the game, because right now we're not even sure if we're getting like any maps, so to speak. There's not a whole lot of cards on the table, and I think their best bet would be to put some cards on the table and commit to certain content they're going to release for the game, regardless of whether it does poorly or not. I mean,
Right.
you kind of have to just,
Is your question is what they could do to improve their communication?
yeah.
If I
Also, and how they could rebolster. I don't know if that's the correct term.
Honestly, I think the best way to go about communication is just opening up playtests, like for certain content, because I feel like without playtesting anything, I think that's why we're in the spot that we are, because the community doesn't like have our opinion until like after the fact. So I think if we were able to like get our hands on, and like kind of explain certain things that could be problematic, that would be awesome, in my opinion.
And obviously playtests, generally speaking, they get a much larger amount of players and feedback as opposed to
Yes.
internal playtests, because they only have a finite amount of people in the company, and
Yes.
possibly not everybody actually playtests the game at any given time. And we've spoken about this in 3 podcasts already, Maple, CTE.
No, yeah, but it's not every guest is bringing a little bit of that spirit. One of the tool that they would love to have. So we can start to say after a few podcasts, going from everybody that played that it's passionate, regardless of the game, that the CTE environment testing is something that may fix the pace of the communication, the pressure from the team to have that a place to have a more direct feedback with action rather than just
because they posted map changes and a recent blog post. I think it was last week or was it the week before. And
Yes.
they were posting images of changes they made to the map, and that's all fine and good. Like, they're making changes to the map, they're adding cover, whatever. But it's hard to judge based on a picture how that's actually going to affect the flow of gameplay in those specific maps, because we don't have hands-on experience, And I was go ahead. Sorry, Fredo.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So as I was saying, it's hard to see, like, you get an idea, okay, this might change this and that, but having hands-on experience with those changes, I think would go a long way and would give players a better idea rather than just looking at pictures of what's being changed, And yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the map changes are like awesome. And they do help with the overall flow of problematic maps. Most notably right now they're working on Kaleidoscope and Renewal. Yes, Renewal.
Yes.
But I do think having those changes in a CT environment like we had in past games, man, they did such an amazing job bringing out the CTE, and it did wonders for, most notably Battlefield 4, which was in a problem area for quite a little bit of time. But having that CTE, which they could technically, I guess, use Portal as a CTE. I don't know the inner workings, but I feel like Portal could fill that role. I don't know what you guys think.
It can, because you could do so much with Portal, and I think honestly, I don't think anyone has pushed it to its full potential yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been a lot of cool things that has came out of Portal, especially with aim trainers. I really enjoyed
people
those.
Making crazy. Sometimes you look at the modes that people were making. The first mode that came out that I saw hit the masses of the internet was the Sundance tutorial with the bots turning around in a circle. I remember looking at that the first time, how did he do that? I was like, what is happening here? You have bots turning around in a circle, making checkpoints to fly with Sundance. I was like, Jesus, man, if they open up just put a massive amount of content in Portal and had something like
speaking of Portal, did you try the mode? Because there was Mera who created a mode with BF Prime with 7,000 line of code in their Portal coding. Did you try the BF Prime mode, Frido, per curiosity?
I don't think I did, to be honest. Probably didn't. No,
I'll send you the link. Yeah, I'll send you the link. It's they pretty much push to the limit. Mera told me the Portal thingy with that, so it could be fun to because again you have 3,000 hours in Battlefield 5. So if you test that and you find things that you love, you could bring interesting opinion. I will send you the link. Okay. Good.
I'll leave a link down below too for that game because I have no idea what that is, but that's a lot of lines of code for a somewhat. Obviously, it's not a simple editor. Not anybody can just jump in and start editing the.
But you type on Google BF Prime and you will see the mode. That's I'm even typing on my Mac on DuckDuckGo BF Prime, and this is the first link like Google, so it's pretty clear. Frido, DM here, boom. Go check that. And Rogue, let's continue. But it's just a mode that we could talk next time, in addition to the activity that you do sometime for your nation. I think Mira is from Germany, honestly, but if you in United States want to use it, it's a great mode, international thing. Maybe you could try just for fun. Okay, let's continue.
Sweet.
I had a question. Would you guys be opposed? This is a hypothetical, obviously. Would you guys be opposed for all the content that's in Portal kind of being added to the rotation? For example, 64 player breakthrough, which is what you play the most, Fredo. I also play 64 breakthrough the most notably because I find it runs better than 128 players. There is some optimization to do, and they're aware of that, I'm sure. But yeah, if they brought all of the Portal maps into the rotation for 64 player breakthrough and just all out warfare modes, if they brought all the maps over, they could do that just to, because not everybody's going to go in Portal and look for servers. Let's be honest here. The most apparent mode that people are going to go play is all out warfare because it's right there. It just match makes you into a game and boom, that's it. So just to add to the amount of content that a large part of the player base is going to mostly play, which is all out warfare, they could just put all the maps there and just have them on rotation,
I think it would be a great idea. That should be in season 1, if there's going to be minimum. It'll just be easier just to port it in. You know what I mean? You don't have to do anything extra. Especially the guns. I would love for all the guns from Portal to come to the base game. That'll be pretty nice to see.
I love myself a G3. Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh, the G3 so good. Yeah, I think that would do a lot to like tide over the player base while we wait for content and obviously improvements to the game. And they also talked about in the blog post, it just popped up in my head. They talked about specialists. So specialists is the next big thing they're going to do with the core feedback loop that they're working on right now.
Okay.
What do you guys think they're going to do to the specialists? Like, obviously they're not going anywhere because at this point there's too much invested into the specialists that they're not going to go anywhere. But where do you think they want to take these specialists in Battlefield 2042? Because obviously it's a point of contention within the community, and it's something that most people, not that they dislike, but they dislike that everybody has access to everything. I think mostly, well, at least that's my personal opinion. I don't like that everybody has access to everything. But where do you guys think they might be going in terms of, in quotation mark, fixing the specialists?
Honestly, I have two answers to this. So
Go ahead.
my first answer would be, I think they're gonna go with a class system, like try to implement it into a class system, class based in a way. Which would be nice to see. At least you'll have like a clear understanding, like far as mechanics wise, that if you're in a vehicle, only certain people will be able to like take you out. Um, My second answer would be like entirely to like fix the specialists. I don't think specialists is a problem. I think the way they've been implemented is the problem. I think if they just make specialists into like a perk system instead of having like special
Mhm.
abilities that are kind of overpowered if you think about it. Pretty much every specialist has a disadvantage, and they do have an advantage in certain areas. But I think if you make it into like traits, like special traits, maybe like for assault, maybe have like a trait like demolition, where you carry maybe like two extra explosives or something like that.
Mm.
Medics, you
See,
have you kind of already have a medic trait. You can revive a lot faster, and then you have the little heal gun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the support should have like the ammo or Angel's ammo supply crate or something like that.
Yeah, the
Maybe
resupply crate where you can
recon,
change out classes and stuff.
yeah. And then like recon should probably be like they should have the trait to only access like higher optics, so like 6 times and higher, maybe something like that. Um, that's just kind of like my idea of like how they should go about it. I don't think specialist is a problem. Um, I don't mind it, long as it is in a class system that we can, understand. Like again, like this, certain specialists will be able to take me out, or
yeah,
you
Certain
know,
specialists will be able to afford me things like ammo or health, because right now
yeah,
it's kind of like you don't know who's doing what. I think is one of the
exactly,
biggest problem. Like, they have this game, where they wanted to push squad play, obviously, because they had the first iteration of the scoreboard was just a squad based scoreboard. We didn't have individual stats, but then you have the specialists that are kind of counterintuitive to what they're trying to push,
yeah,
because there's no sense of, you have no role in your inside your squad, because you can do whatever you want. If my teammates aren't bringing meds and I keep dying, well, I'm probably just going to swap over to a med crate or Falc, you know.
right,
So yeah, I think they could do a lot in terms of not per se like eliminating the specialists. As I said, I don't think they're going to be going anywhere, at least for Battlefield 2042. For the future, who knows? I mean, they
right.
said they learned from their mistakes. Again, in quotation marks, is what they said. They learn from their mistakes. What does that mean for the future? It's anybody can say anything right now. We have no clue what's happening over there in terms of the next title, but according to X people, there is another title in the works, and obviously they have other studios starting up with Marcus Leto in San Francisco. I think they have a new studio starting, working on another Battlefield title. So there are going to be future Battlefield titles, and if they're going to go back to the core of Battlefield, so to speak, with classes, or if they're going to implement in Battlefield 5, the guns had special traits, right?
Yes, the tree system. Yes.
Yes, and also, were archetypes ever a thing? I didn't play Battlefield 5 all that much. I know that in the marketing material they were talking about archetypes for each individual class. Did that ever end up making its way into Battlefield 5, or was that entirely scrapped?
Um, I think it made its way in some point. I can't really remember like verbatimly, but I think it did.
Okay, but definitely the way of like modifying your guns to your liking with like the trees could be something that could be reused, but for characters, I guess. You know,
Oh,
you pick a trait tree, and then you stick to that with
honest,
Sorry, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say honestly, I wouldn't like that idea honestly. For us, like the characters, but guns, I mean, that's fine. It's basically like attachments, but
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go back to like, everyone is basically on the same level. You know, with 2042, McKay has like the fastest stray speed out of all the other specialists, which I
Oh
think is kind
man,
of
that
like
makes it so
unfair.
hard to snipe.
Yes. So like kind of having every character, or as their movements, needs to be on the same level, I think, across the board. I don't think there should be any like traits to it.
Yeah.
But attachments, you should be able to modify your gun, like I guess any way that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously there's clearly some specialists that are way better than others, you know?
Yes.
Some specialists, like, I don't mean to throw certain specialists under the bus, but Rao, maybe not all that great. Just throwing one out there that I haven't personally really played all that much because it's just like meh. You know,
Yeah.
you have this specialist. Why would I play him when I can have like a grappling hook
Right.
or a turret or a Surette pistol? So yeah, I think they need to also look at rebalancing some of the specialists to make them more all of a level playing field. So there is a reason to pick every different specialists. But I'm also curious to see what other specialists they have in the plans because there is supposed to be 4 new specialists releasing in year 1. So, I'm curious to see what they're going to bring to the table in terms of new gadgets or new ideas or
Sorry, I was typing on it. You mean the new gadget in the future for the game Battlefield 2042? Is that
yeah, because there's
correct?
supposed to be 4 new
Yes.
specialists releasing in year 1 content, right?
Yes.
So,
Oh, but honestly, first of all, I think it needs to go a little bit with the core of what it's need to do. So the compartmenting, the silo, the specialist, the specialization of the specialist that you need to decide before you jump on the field. That Frido you mentioned, and a little bit you, Rogue, are part of the big change that will be. That said, saying that, new map, modification on the map, and new weapon, new gadget, new things. So if you ask me what will be the new content for the season 1, I feel like we will have, maybe sadly, and without being said by any leaks or whatever, maybe a little bit a reduced number of new things, if that makes sense, because of the change that seems to be more important at first to play the game. Does that make sense if you ask me what will be new in season 1? I mean, I know it's a shitty answer, but that's the reality.
hey man, we're not here to be
No, but does that make sense? I feel like it will be more a rework, and it's not necessarily shitty if the game became bigger, but in the optic of having new item, honestly, I love the logical that Frido you put on the change that may need to improve the specialist, if I can use those words. So yeah, I feel like it will be more a reshape, a build of the game rather than, let's say, a ton of new weapons and gadget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
I think,
also. Oh, go ahead, Fredo. Sorry, we seem to
you're
always
fine.
be synced.
I was gonna
That's good,
say,
guys.
I love most of Dice's ideas. I think if they just add the community's opinion about it, the positive community, I mean not community, but communication, I think it would just go a long way because certain ideas I like, but it's just like you went the wrong way about it. I think there's always a right way to do something, that makes sense. And I like their creative freedom. I like that. They're open to try new things, but just please just let the community speak on certain things. I
Yeah,
think it'll go a long way in the future.
yeah. Because obviously, as Battlefield fans, we kind of know what we want from a Battlefield game.
Yeah.
Well, at least speaking for myself, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of know the experience that I'm looking for when I play Battlefield, right? And I'm sure both of you probably do as well. and it might be similar to what I expect from a Battlefield experience. But yeah.
Sorry. Can you re-say that? Sorry, I was typing on Discord again, my friend. It was not you,
syrup.
it's me. No, it's I'm receiving DMs, bro. I need
So
to. I'm there. I'm doing my
have
work.
I have no doubt that you must receive a massive amount of DMs. And
Not that much, but I want to be there when I receive one. That's it. So what was? I didn't just understand your last phrase about the
I was
addition, my
saying-
friend. Can you repeat?
I was saying that I think we all have a pretty good, like as Battlefield fans for varying
Yes.
amounts of years, I think we all have a good idea of what we expect as an experience in a Battlefield game, you know?
Yes.
And I think right now it's kind of in a weird spot where it's not really pleasing like that many people, you know, a
you're
lot of
so
people
right.
that came to play Battlefield 2042 for that Battlefield experience. It just fell flat on its face, kind of.
You're so right, my friend. You're so right. And if I will have, let's say, a question, let's finish on this. If you will have, because we know it had hurt the community how the things has turned with Battlefield 2042. Regardless of if the game will be a future one, an addition about the specialist or new gadget that we talk about, what could be in one word or one phrase the thing that you would love to say, let's say, to a DICE dev, the best thing in one phrase, really the best thing that could fix the game, the franchise, or what you love that could bring, when you have an argument with your girlfriend and after the dinner everybody's cool. What could be the move that you will say to DICE for this to happen? If you have one thing to say to him.
Go ahead, Fredo, if you're ready.
I have one thing. to
It's a heavy question, bro. I know.
God damn, on a Sunday morning like that. Jeez, Maple.
bro.
I guess I will have to, like, I guess on a positive note, I would say I highly appreciate you continue to make Battlefield because that is like the one game I love the most. Number two would be to, like, I guess change the game would be the atmosphere, please. Is that what pretty much gets
What
me
do you
hooked
mean
on?
by atmosphere?
Like, it needs to be more chaos. Like, if you think about BF1, you have the explosions, you got the fire going on, you got the big balloon thing, the airship, I mean, coming down, and the horse moving, the can. It's just total chaos going. It makes you feel like you're actually in a war. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
When I play 2042, I just feel like I'm just by myself. Kind of running around.
In a nice, clean, mostly clean setting for
yeah.
the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that kind of atmosphere would definitely get me hooked on a little bit more.
Did you play Battlefield 1 a little bit more since Battlefield 2042? I play myself Battlefield 1, so
I saw you playing last night, actually.
Yeah, bro, I know it's egoist here. I'm asking a question for myself, but do you play Battlefield 1 times 2 times?
I don't. I think I only have like 300 hours, honestly, in BF1. I just came like in the very tail end, and then I picked up Battlefield 5, and I really liked that game. Some of the mechanics in there I liked, but I stuck with the game.
Yeah, but you do have a good feel in 300 hours of a game about the atmosphere. Speaking of that,
Yes.
do you think there was a big difference of atmosphere between 1 and 5, or you seem to have loved Battlefield 5, and I do have loved Battlefield 5 too, with the level that you are and the 3000 that you put. What did you love the most about Battlefield 5? Let's say. If I can
I would say the maps.
Okay.
At first when it came out, I know everyone hated the maps, but that's one thing I can
No,
say.
man.
I love most of the maps in the game. I would say Homage is probably my favorite
Okay.
of the
Okay.
game.
But you're not a sniper player. Amada is a sniper map. So why do you love Amada, if I may ask?
I like the layout.
Okay.
I think
Even as
it's
an infantry? Okay. Okay.
yes. I think it's one of the easiest maps in my mind to flank. That's another thing I love about Battlefield 5. The flanks were amazing. Love the flanks. It's easy to get
Okay.
behind the team and kind of wipe like 10 people. No one knows what's going on.
So
uh,
the rule construction of the flank are what makes the map fun to play. Can I
yes.
summarize this like this for you? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I think without flanking, you pretty much like butcher the infantry
Mhm.
play style. Because 2042, in my opinion, I think it's impossible to go on like good flanks or good kill streaks
Because there's no real like
yeah,
lanes, kind of like if you're speaking in like terms of map design, kind of it's really open. And I do agree that it's hard to get a good flank off without somebody actually catching you with your pants down.
yeah, yes, and you're pretty
Yeah.
much spotted by everything, so it's like or it automatically puts you at a disadvantage.
Yeah, there is
Especially
definitely
with
a
the
lot of
turrets.
passive spotting.
Yes,
Yeah, I
I
feel
think I haven't met one person yet that has went on like a crazy infantry kill streak. It's like it's really impossible. And if you do, I mean, it's amazing. You know.
yeah.
Um,
I think that's why probably I like breakthrough the most, because there is like somewhat of a clear cut path to like, okay, we're pushing these objectives, as opposed to conquest where the maps are really open. So it's like you can't really get a flank because there's the maps feel very square. I don't know if that makes sense,
yes,
but they
it
feel
does.
very square as opposed to being like a more so linear type
Yes.
setting, I guess I would say. But breakthrough, you do have that more linear thing, so you can get certain flanks. But on certain maps, not all maps are great for flanking, even on breakthrough, even though you have a clear cut path. But the one I think the most about, I know it's probably not everybody's favorite, Hourglass, the first set of objectives when you're attacking, you can get a pretty sick
Yeah.
flank on the right hand side. Like behind those valleys of sand, those sand dunes, you can get a pretty sick flank because not a lot of people think of looking that way. They're mostly focused on the building parts, right? And that's like my favorite place to flank on Hourglass when I'm pushing. That right side, you push that all the way to the back, then you put a spawn insertion beacon in the back if you're playing with teammates. Oh man. And you push A2. Now that is some fun battlefield moments right there, for real. Like I'm not even being kidding here. That, for me, that is the battlefield experience. Getting those crazy flanks, making the enemy team wonder.
But after that, it's long. The dune, yes, the first one, when you're massive, you can hide for a few trek and thing. But the same building after the two flank that are good to the green, there's too many. It's too flat before accessing to the green building, the second one. So, I mean, I understand what you said. Or when you are on sea, the road that goes high, you took the small zip line, and you go back and you can swing with Sundance again. She's so OP, and you go close to the first point pretty quick. But yeah, so if I can say, do you guys think by shrinking all the distances between all the action action zone of the battlefield game could be quick and ultimate? So reshaping could that be a good idea?
to
Like
reshape the maps
reducing
or
all
reducing
the
the
distances
plays.
of the map? Yeah.
I think the maps are too big, personally. I don't know about you guys.
I think shrinking is fine, but you still need to add more cover. You know, just if you're shrinking
Okay.
a map, you know, without cover, you're still gonna have the same experience. So yeah, I think you need to do both.
Okay.
Oh,
No, that makes
before
sense.
we end,
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought about something. There
okay.
For the next update, vehicle changes are happening.
Oh
So
yes.
I know in past podcasts, Maple, and I don't know if you remember, we talked about how in like previous titles there was a set amount of X, Y, Z vehicle on the map. So, for example, you know, just thinking about the ones that I noticed the most, or that I remember the most. So Rogue Transmission on Battlefield 4. So you had 2 tanks per side, right, at spawn, 1 jet, one transport chopper, a couple of quads, and like some mostly, you know, random vehicles. I think you had also 1 APC, and those were set vehicles. Like in Battlefield 2042, one of the things that makes it so that it feels unbalanced a lot of times is there's too much freedom in terms of which vehicles you can access. But now they're changing it. So the Nightbird, sorry, it used to be in the transport category of flying vehicles or air vehicles, and now it's being transferred to the attack helicopter section.
Yes.
That is going to be like a massive change. I don't know about you guys.
I'm sorry, I'm such never using the chopper.
So basically,
the
the Nightbird, when Battlefield, as of now, so it's supposed to change in the next update, and they did talk about that, like officially in the forums, that they were going to have changes, and on the blog post in regards to vehicle, in which categories they find themselves. So Nightbirds were in the same category as the transport helicopter and the Condor. I don't know if that's the right name for it. The Nightbird was also in there. So it made it so you had one category that could use the attack chopper and one category that could use the Nightbird. So you always, at any given time, there was always like at least 3-4 attack air vehicles in the airspace, which and it also blocked access to air transport vehicles, because if the people decided to pick Nightbirds, then you couldn't have access to the transport vehicles in that category. But now the Nightbird is being moved from the transport vehicles into the attack category.
So it's
so it's either you pick, I guess it would be jet, attack helicopter, or Nightbird. It's not going to be one and the other.
Honestly, as an infantry player, I might get some hate for this, but I'm happy because I can finally get an infantry experience. However, for my vehicle friends, I feel bad for them too, because this also means that someone that's not experienced in air vehicles can just take a jet, fly it across the map, and just hop out of it, to get a little flank, and you pretty much just wasted an air vehicle.
But that was still the case in past titles as well, though.
Yeah,
I'm still not I'm sure I understanding the. I was typing again, Jesus. But I will check about this change of the vehicle. Basically, it's make the things unbalanced.
Yes.
But okay, too much for the infantry. Honestly, even you as an infantry, Fredo, is this change too much? I have difficulties to understand. Roki, to summarize, this change is some attacking weapon that changed from the defending to the attacking sides, but that make it more
No.
for the infantry.
No.
Okay.
So you know how vehicles are categorized right now in Battlefield?
Yep.
So you have light vehicles, which is the ATV Recon 4, the Scorpion, and the hovercraft.
Yep.
And for the air vehicles, For air vehicles, the Nightbird was categorized. So you know how you have transport vehicles?
The chopper, yeah.
The Nightbird was under the transport category.
Okay.
And now it's being put into the attack category.
So, I mean, there's still the same timer to choose each vehicle.
Yeah, but now you, for example, at any given time, you could have 3 attack vehicles from the air category. Right, yes. And you could also have 2 transport vehicles.
But
so now, seeing as the Nightbird, now instead of having the Nightbird be on top of the attack air vehicles, it will be part of the attack air vehicles.
No, but that makes sense if it's an attacking vehicle, because the Nightbird, I mean, it's a chopper. You can be 2, 3, 4 people as any attack chopper, I guess, but it's a chopper with like missiles and things behind. And,
as opposed to like the Little Bird in Battlefield 4, which is obviously the most close related vehicle to the Nightbird. In Battlefield 4, you didn't have the minigun and missiles, air to ground missiles. It was
I didn't know Little Gun was in Battlefield 4.
It was the minigun and lock-ons for air combat.
Okay.
You didn't have air to ground missiles like you do in Battlefield 2042, which is why the Nightbird is such a popular choice, because it's like kind of like a one size fits all air vehicle, really.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you could put it that way. And also, just to finish up here, the Bolt is also being transferred from light vehicles to armored vehicles.
I'm very upset about that.
I
am a tanker. Yeah, I love tanking, so that means, the Bolt is a popular choice, so I'm probably going to hardly get a tank after this update.
Yeah. And that just brings me back to always, I know it's giving players freedom and all that is great, but I think as a developer, you have to kind of put your foot on the ground and say, okay, this is the type of vehicles that you can have on this map, a set amount for each type of vehicle instead of having just categories. I think that's probably the best choice for balance purposes, at least in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I will always advocate for that.
I mean, go ahead, Maple.
No, go ahead. I'm receiving a messages at the same time, guys. Again, go ahead. I'll take this moment for you. No worries. Go ahead. Sorry, but can you just repeat what is your change that you would like to? I just want to make sure to understand what you mean about the weapon here, Rogue.
So instead of having players choose which vehicles they want to use out of a category, have the map be locked to each vehicle. So this map can have 1 Bolt. It can have 1 hovercraft. It can have 2 recon cars, 2 tanks, one Wildcat. Have set parameters for each vehicle instead of having them in categories, because now, like, obviously the Bolt is going to be in the armor category.
Make a hard choice for each
now
game.
it's like, okay, do I use the bolts and possibly hinder our team's performance because we'll have one tank less?
But you can maybe still choose the vehicle that you want in a map that it will normally fit less, maybe because it's still a little bit of the spirit of the game to be open and use
I know,
what you want,
but it makes for really unbalanced gameplay, man. It's like, very, I don't know about you guys, but it's very apparent that having the vehicles categorized instead of having set amounts of each really hindered the balance of the game. And
that makes sense for me. I didn't know vehicle. That's why I'm asking so much questions. Sorry, go ahead, Rido.
I think this is the wrong way to go about it. I think there's a misunderstanding about vehicle balance. That wasn't what we were like saying or crying out for. What we're saying is that these vehicles are too powerful. Like how you mentioned earlier about the little bird having missiles and the miniguns. That's pretty OP. And pretty much every vehicle kills infantry. And it kind of sucks. So that's what we meant by like vehicle balance. We need, a trade-off system or something, or maybe get rid of all these 50 mils, not 50 mils, but 30 mils on the transport vehicles, stuff like that, so that, infantry can have a chance to like move around the map without just getting ran over, like run on by the bolts or the transport vehicles. But
and obviously the ways to take care of vehicles is pretty limited too. You don't have a whole lot of options in terms of destroying vehicles, which kind of skews the balance towards the vehicles even more.
Yes, there's only like one rocket launcher, and with that, I mean, it's okay, but the damage on it's
so bad, and the velocity on it is so slow.
Yeah,
so freaking slow. I hate using that thing. I hate it so much. I never use it. I'd always rather use C5. I'd rather take my chances running up to a vehicle and trying to throw C5s on it than use the rockets.
Another thing too with the C5s, like I'm hoping they put it in the patch this time around to remove the C5 drone, because like being a tanker, like when you're actually trying to be on the flag, tanks can't, like, we can't be aggressive because we're getting C5 drone on the objective.
Especially
so
when
once they remove that would be amazing. You know what I mean?
Especially when you're stationary, man. C5 drones, easy pickings.
Yes.
And you don't really see it coming because, you can't really look up all that much, like straight above you you can't. You just can't look up straight above you as a tanker,
Right.
And if you're playing in third person, you can kind of maybe see it coming at the last second, but by that time it's probably too late. Yeah.
Plus, it's like a small model. It looks like a little fly on your screen. You're like, what's going on? And then boom, you're like, oh, C5 drone.
Yeah. And then boom, tank's gone. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they're hopefully they're looking at the balance of the overall game and seeing how it currently affects both vehicle and infantry players alike. I think everybody's kind of hurting right now in terms of overall balance. So hopefully a lot of this cover that they're adding to maps is going to help circumvent those issues, and also maybe recategorizing the vehicles will help as well. Maybe not so much the bolts.
Right.
I think they should have, like, in a perfect world, they should have maybe had an armor category, a light armor category, and then a transport vehicle category for the ground vehicles, instead of having just two categories, which is either armor or transport. I think they could add another category, and it would be much better that way, personally. Because if you had a transport category, you could also add, for example, at base, like the electric trucks or the quads, to be able to use those vehicles straight out of base, which would also be great because a lot of people are stuck on foot.
If you think about it, like with these new changes for us, the map design, I don't think it would improve much because all of the vehicles have splash damage. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if I jump in cover. Like if you add cover, I'm still going to get farmed on by a splash damage cannon. You know what I mean? So like, I'm pretty sure they're going to notice that too, but I'm just saying I don't think it's going to improve much until you like fix that splash damage.
Yeah, ideally we need to have hands-on experience with it, and we're not going to have that.
CTE.
We need a CTE, Dice. That's the one thing I wanted.
Guys.
You asked us what we could say to a Dice dev earlier. Give us a CTE.
I was asking our guests because with Treat, again, you're doing so much for your community, for your nation in Battlefield Nation. You have a great knowledge of the game. You are a passionate player. Again, about that, you play 3,000 hours for yourself, your passion that you love for the game. So indeed, I feel like those questions are relevant. I think it's even a chance for us to be able to ask you this. So, and if anyone who makes the game hear that, listen, it can be a valuable comment to add in the book list, you know? So,
Yeah.
thanks again. I want to say that today we talk about the game, what we love, a little bit of what's happening, what it's still planned down the road. We talk about also how you connect with your nation. What will be your next, let's say, plan? Let's say I know you talked to that about me already a little bit before the today's podcast, but what do you have, let's say, for your nation? What's your cooking up for USA, my dear Fredo?
Oh, actually, we have a U.S. versus Mexico event.
Oh, it works.
I also have
It
a
was not sure. It was not sure on Xbox
yes,
BF1. The
yes.
souvenir match, bro. We're gonna stream that in 4K 60, my friend. I honestly, it's a real update because I just asking what was going on with the server that you create. It works with Mexico because you're playing on PC. You know a lot of people, but it worked. Oh, but my friend, I think you can see my honest surprise here. Oh, bang, we're gonna have a Battlefield 1 matches in 4K. Man, let me know the detail. Okay, sorry, I'm truly excited. So, that was that.
I have a,
That's yeah. Sorry.
no, you're good. I have another one too. We possibly might have a T12 for 2042, which would be interesting. I want to make that
Yeah.
a BFN event as well. But I'm
42,
working
I
on
cannot
it.
stream. It's too complicated, bro. But I will be there if I
Yeah,
can play. I will join.
spectator cam needs.
Yeah.
We man, I remember even for the China versus Indonesia that we may stream that we will stream 32 versus 32. I asked it was 2042 or BFV because even for the tournament that we made one China, one Japan stream 2042 it's two and I talked with Lycan maybe to have one full view, but even that with 3-4 scene we need a spectator mode. Okay, sorry, I'm renting. I'm finishing on the rent. That's not cool. I want a spectator mode. But nice. I would love to be able to say yes to your stream to 2042, but it's nice. I'm genuinely impressed, Frido. I want to say it again. You're the latest ambassador of United States, but you're doing so much. I think you're at your place. It's not easy also to do the things that you do. You're also giving your time in your competitive team as you love the game competitively, and we are making the bridge. But thanks for everything that you do. So 12v12 it was versus another nation. Sorry,
So
I cut you.
this is actually going to be internally with US. So
Okay.
it was an idea that was brought up last night
That's sick.
after a match, and
Okay.
I think it
Wow.
be interesting. So,
Wow. Let's make sure that we will. I don't know. Man, that's amazing. All right. No, that was great. Thanks again. I know I repeat myself, but it was amazing. Rogue, any word? Big thanks for animating at each. It's now an habitude and we're acclimated to. Thanks again for being there today, my friend, to animate it. One last word you want to say, Fredo, just to finish to your nation or to whatever, to anyone who listened to you about let's say the Battlefield nation, and you want to finish on a word, my friend? Let's finish on this.
um, hopefully we can continue to stay together.
Yeah.
That'll be my only
I
word.
think those are some wise words that Dice can live by. Make us stick together, Dice.
Yes.
Keep
No,
your
and-
community, man. You guys got a diehard freaking fan base. Don't let it whittle.
And for ourselves to stay together, to be kind, and no, I get what you mean. That's amazing. You're doing good, and also you have a great relation. I feel with the other ambassador. You're really lead well toward that cooperative spirit. I love it. No, thanks again. Thanks everyone for listening. It was a long outro, but we will continue each time for all the ambassador of our nation. USA is a big nation in Battlefield Nation, and Frido, the ambassador, is doing a lot. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you are from North America, from United States, join. It will be a good way to connect with Battlefield Nation, your nation, other communities, the competitive world. There is a competitive world, maybe doing bigger mode even for our tournament. It's more and more something that could make sense also for BFN. We're doing that with community event. Thanks again, Fredo. Okay, all right. It's been 3 times. I repeat myself. Let's get it.
And you haven't even had a coffee yet. Good Lord.
Yeah, I have it. I recorded my webcam for YouTube. You see me drink it all the time today. Anyway, okay.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kind of another long one. I didn't expect to go this long, but some pretty good conversations here, and I think there's
that's.
a lot being said, and you can see that, even though the game's not in the best spot, we're still passionate about the franchise, and we just want it to work. We just want it to be how it used to be, and have a big happy community, have fun.
And it's because of the ambassador, and you can see that they are not only at the purposes of that for BFN, but they are gems of the community itself. So it will be a pleasure to show you that at each podcast for a series. And thanks again. It was a great start, an exemplary start with you, Fredo, today again. Thanks everyone.
Yes, so thank you again to our guests, Fredo and Maple. And we'll catch you guys in the next podcast in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, this time
2 weeks again. At each 2 weeks. We're regular.
Hopefully this time I'm going to have an easier time editing the podcast and not have technical issues. But that is a boring topic, and I'm going to leave you guys on a better positive note.
I'll be there in your DM for that too. All
right. Maple's there to hear me complain.
I helped you. You should have pinged me before that, waiting 4 hours and re-downloading DaVinci Resolve, bro. I was there.
I was trying to figure it out by myself.
But anyway, okay.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have a fantastic rest of day. For you guys that are listening right now, have a good rest of the Sunday. Take it easy, and we'll catch you guys in the next podcast. Peace.
Peace. Bye-bye. Thanks.